Good morning, and what a beautiful day to join together here at New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. I'm glad to have you with us. We gather together from the comfort of our homes to express love, to practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and to connect with one another and with spirit. We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. Our practitioner holding consciousness for us today and available for prayer after service, go get one, is Deborah J. Dawkins. Now, just settle back, go within as we begin our service with an opening song and then a prayer.
Good morning, New Thought. We're so glad you're here with us this morning. Hopefully you know the words to this one. Spirit is in this place. If you know the words, please sing along. We have come together as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with hearts wide open. We have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise, Spirit's in this place. We sing in celebration,
love them. Thank you, Jimmy and Julie. Now, if you'd like to just settle back and let your eyes close if you feel comfortable, we shut out the stimulus to our brain so our brain can just shh. Thank you, beautiful brain. And we drop into our hearts, into that place where when we say, I am, we recognize that I as our connection with the divine, our true nature, that creative force in all things, in all places, in all times, that vibration of love, expanding, never-ending, boundless love, and that peace, that deep, abiding peace that says, it's all good. And joy, exuberant, expressive, exciting joy. All of these, the nature of the divine, the nature of spirit, and the nature of us, because we are connected, we are plugged in, we are in harmony and unity with all of those aspects of God, with the joy and the peace and the love and the creative force. And I know such a blessing today in the music, in the message, in the practitioners, in the prayers, in the technical support. And what a blessing you are. What a blessing you who are watching are to New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. And knowing that all is blessed today, it's all good. I release this into that all good. And if you feel comfortable saying it with me, and so it is.
Thank you, Ember. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So glad to be with you this beautiful spring day. My name is Reverend Lee Alvarado. I think you all know who I am, but it's always good to say that. So let's harmonize our hearts and our minds as we do every Sunday. Let's place our hands on our hearts, taking some deep breaths. Feels good to just breathe in. And let's say together, care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. A book that I often refer back to time and time again, because it's just has so many amazing gems in it, is a book called One Soul, One Love, One Heart, and it's by John E. Welshons. And in chapter 1, it's titled Spiritual Opportunities in Relationship. Great title, yeah? And he asked the following questions in the first paragraph. Do you sometimes feel that what stands between you and happiness is the behavior of other people? Do you get frustrated and annoyed when people don't act or communicate the way you want them to? Do you feel that you could be happy, or at least happier, if only those people acted differently or thought differently? These are great questions, aren't they? Questions we can likely say a resounding yes to. As Brene Brown says, people are just people. Today's talk is called So Happy Together, because despite our differences and our annoyances of the people, we really are happier together. Mother Teresa said, if we have no peace, It is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Being happier together than apart is something that we all became aware of during the last couple of years, particularly during those times of lockdown. Even those who prefer more alone time found themselves craving connection. We weren't meant to live this life separated from each other, from other human beings. We are meant to gather together, to help each other, to heal and to lift each other up, especially during those times when we have fallen, and to celebrate one another during times of success. Mark Nepo writes in his book, More Together Than Alone, about a community practice in Africa called Osusu, which involves everyone pooling their savings and sharing it with everybody in the group. Members give what they can, as little as $1 or maybe $100 a month. And then the pot, the whole communal pot, is given to one member every single month. Whoever that person is in need, most need, receives that communal pot until everybody has received it. And then the cycle starts over again. Osusu has been in practice for generations in Nigeria. It depends on trust and cooperation and rises out of a belief that each person's survival is tied to everyone else's. Unfortunately, we don't ascribe to that belief in the US, do we? But imagine if we did. Imagine if we depended on each other for our own survival, how different we would behave. We would be forced to connect and to cooperate and to trust one another. In the United States, we aren't so united, as someone pointed out in my social awareness group this week. In our group, we're reading the book Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. And the author argues that the racial tensions in the United States aren't, that they are better explained through the lens of caste, not race. That caste is a 400-year-old hierarchy, placing white people at the top and Black people at the bottom. She explores how America today, throughout its history, has been shaped by this hidden caste system. She details the horrifying and despicable stories of how Blacks in America have been treated for hundreds of years, brutally tortured because they've been seen as subordinate, seen as less than. Some of the stories in the book are so painful to read, you can't read them without it taking your breath away or shedding a tear. For me, Caste is truly the most painful book I have ever read, and yet I also believe that it is the most important book I will ever read in my lifetime, because it does an incredible job of describing the details of what Blacks have experienced in this country. If we truly want to create a united states and to cultivate unity consciousness, we have to acknowledge what our brothers and sisters have endured at the hands of the dominant caste in our country. We may no longer have lynchings in the way that they existed hundreds of years ago, but Black and Indigenous people of color are lynched in many other ways still to this day. In Hinduism, 4 castes exist in a hierarchy. Each caste has certain duties and rights. The lowest caste are what's called the Dalits, or the untouchables, who perform jobs that are considered degrading. You know, it's interesting, in the Hindu tradition, they have a great reverence for all life. And yet, the untouchables are seen as pollutants and almost have no rights in society. Although the caste system has been outlawed in India for a long time, it still exists. If a Dalit touches someone from an upper caste, even brushes up against them, accidentally, those of the upper caste must wash their hands or garments immediately because they see them as being polluted. We can be so cruel as human beings. When we operate from our human minds, our human selves, it's our human selves that forget the truth of who we are, that we are all connected. It's the human part of us that only wants to unite with those who are like us. We know immediately who our people are and those who are not our people. And although we don't cast them out in the same way as it's done in India, we still cast them out, don't we? So who are the people in your life or people in the world that you have cast out of your heart? Whether it's the caste system in the United States or in India, as a collective, we have carried over beliefs, attitudes, and ways of being from long ago that still impact the world. These ways of being are embedded in the collective consciousness. It's hard to release hundreds of years, and in the case of Hindus, thousands of years of destructive beliefs and harmful patterns of behaving. In our social awareness group, we often discuss, when will humanity be able to come together as one human family in love and acceptance and forgiveness? How do we dismantle the caste system and create a more loving society? We don't have all the answers. But we know that it starts with developing a deeper awareness of our own biases, our own prejudices, as well as educating ourselves about the true history of our country. And as such, we develop a greater capacity to understand what others have gone through. And instead of us and them, we can recognize the humanity in each other and live our lives with more compassion and understanding, reaching our hand across the aisle to those outside of our community and live as one, not just knowing our oneness as an intellectual exercise, but truly living it. Joseph Campbell said, the essence of oneself and the essence of the world, these two are one. One day while I was living in Los Angeles, I was driving home from work down a busy city street. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a woman lying on the sidewalk, in the middle of the sidewalk. And people were driving by and walking around her and stepping over her. What it appeared as though they just didn't care, that there was no concern for her well-being. No one stopped. I felt compelled to pull over, and I pulled into a bank parking lot nearby. I was nervous as I approached her. I didn't know if she was dead or alive or injured. So I went over to her and I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, "Hello, are you okay?" And she looked up at me with a groggy voice and she said, "Oh yes, I was just sleeping." It was clear to me that she was homeless. She was dirty and disheveled, and she appeared to be inebriated. She brought me over to a place where she and her friend were living, in the bushes behind the bank. I went over to the ATM and I withdrew some money and I gave it to them along with a blanket that I had in my car. She looked up at me and she said, "You are an angel." I've thought about that moment many times over the years, how we are each angels to each other. I was an angel in her eyes in that moment, but yet so many others have been an angel to me in my life. Times when I needed to be reminded of who I am and times when I just needed to be lifted up. Mark Nepo said, "We are all one gesture from being the cruelty we have suffered, or one kindness from helping each other heal in the open." We're human, and we all have moments when we lose our temper or act in not so spiritual ways. But the more that we do our work, the more that we take time to notice and reflect and take responsibility for our actions, as well as work with a trusted advisor to guide us through the process of healing our wounds, the wounds that are still within us, the less likely we are to choose cruelty over kindness. Kindness is our nature. Cruelty is something that we learn. An angel showed up in my life many years after my experience with that homeless woman that day. I was driving from California to Colorado when one of my tires blew. I mean, it blew so badly that it damaged the front end of my car. It was very scary. I was driving through this narrow part of the highway in St. George, Utah. There was barely any space to pull over, and I didn't have AAA, and I didn't know how to change a tire. But within what seemed like seconds, a man in a big white truck pulled up behind me and waved to me and said, "Do you need some help?" And I said, "Yes, please help me." He spent the next hour changing my tire. What a gift that was to me that day. We can all be angels for one another. We are here to help each other, to lift each other up. Carl Jung said, despite our differences, the unity of mankind will assert itself irresistibly. The unity of mankind and womankind, I will add that, will assert itself irresistibly. We are emanations of the divine. That is who we are. Therefore, we can be healers to each other. But we have to get past those parts of ourselves that are so afraid of connection and intimacy with another human being. I've shared that story of the man helping me on the side of the freeway, and I've had friends say, "You trusted him?" Yeah, I did, actually. I saw him as an angel showing up for me that day. I wasn't afraid at all. But we can be afraid at times of the intimacy and of looking into someone's eyes and connecting with another human being, particularly if it's someone we don't know. And then there's those parts of ourselves too that are addicted to judgment and criticism. All that we do impacts the whole. Therefore, whatever actions we take, whether they be mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual, all of it has a direct impact on humanity. So what if we walked through the world knowing that because we are all connected, our individual behaviors and actions impact the greater whole? Think about that for a moment. Not from a place of panic like, oh no, I feel the burden of that or the responsibility that it carries, but rather the opportunity that is there for all of us. That we are each angels for one another. The truth is, we are all linked together by a golden strand that comes from Spirit, that comes from God. And therefore, what happens to one person happens to us all. As we take the time to connect with another human being from a place of love and compassion, not only are we healing ourselves, but we are a healing presence for that person and for the world. Oneness isn't a new concept for us. Because of our oneness, we know that we can sit in the privacy of our own home and send love to someone on the other side of the planet and know that on some level they receive it, they feel it. But what about actually taking the time to build connections with others? Human connection takes courage, doesn't it? It's easy to sit at home and send love out and to trust that it will find its way to the person who needs it. But what about connecting with another human being face to face? We desire to connect with others, but we can't do it by isolating ourselves in our homes. We've been willing to put ourselves out there. We have to be willing to put ourselves out there. As the mask mandate has lifted and the COVID numbers have dropped, many of us feel safe to venture back out into the world. And if you're not one of those who feels safe yet, that's okay. But we are happier together. And we can find ways to connect, to look into each other's eyes, even if it's on Zoom. Many of us have forgotten how to be social over the last 2 years, being so isolated. And there's those of us who are a little more introverted and likely have enjoyed not having to engage with people so much. But we need each other. We really do. And if we've learned anything from the last 2 years, it's that we do need each other. Relationships are the key to our happiness. Dr. Vivek Murthy, who was the 19th Surgeon General of the United States, wrote a great book called Together, The Healing Power of Human Connection in Sometimes a Lonely World. And in it, he writes, when I think back on the patients I cared for in their dying days, the size of their bank accounts and their status in the eyes of society were never the yardsticks by which they measured a meaningful life. What they talked about were the relationships, the ones that brought them great joy, the relationships they wished they'd been more present for, the ones that broke their hearts. In the final moments when only the most meaningful strands of life remain, it's the human connections that rise to the top. And so what is something that you are willing to do, starting today, to build connection with others? What is something that you have been putting off doing that would take you outside of your inner circle? Who can you be an angel to? When you see someone on the street corner asking for money, instead of driving by, reach out to them and say hello. Roll your window down, say hello to them, and gift them with a grocery store gift card or some money. You know, when we serve others, we serve ourselves. For what we put out returns to us multiplied. It's one of the laws of the universe. We are all in this together. We're not alone. We are part of one human family. So I have an assignment for all of us this week. Instead of just merely talking about love and compassion and oneness, let's expand our circle and take some action in our lives and commit to sharing our love with someone new. Withdraw some cash or get some gift cards. And when you drive by someone who's homeless, say hello, give them a gift, strike up a conversation with them, look them in the eye. Don't just hand them the dollar or a few bucks and quickly drive away, but take the time to connect. Take the time to say hello, share your heart, share your abundance with them. And if you're already someone who gives money to the homeless, then think of another way that you can connect with another human being and share your love. And next week, I would love to hear the stories of how this went for you. I'm going to do it too. Truly, we are happier together. We are meant to lift each other up. Our true nature, as Dr. Vivek Murthy says, is to be kind, compassionate, and connected. Let's pray. Oh, and so I know in this moment, I declare in this moment that we recognize the beauty and grace of spirit that lives so beautifully within us. We recognize the power of spirit that is not only within us, but that is within all beings. I'm knowing that as we go out into our lives this week, that we are willing to move a little bit more outside of our inner circle and to reach out to another human being, to recognize the love and the light that is within all. No matter who they are, we know that light exists within them, just as it exists within each of us. I am knowing that we are happier together. And that as we move through this world, that we recognize and remember that truth. and we take little steps that connect us with others in new ways, bringing us joy and being an angel for another being, for another human being. And so feeling gratitude for the opportunity that is before us, we just take that deep breath and we feel the joy of what is possible in our lives by saying yes, by stepping out into a new world, a new way of being. By connecting with other beings, we bring them into our lives. We bring them into our hearts. And so with that, we just let this go and we trust. We trust that who we are in the world is pure love. That who we are is compassion, that who we are is an expression of the divine, that who we are is that light. And we have so much to share. We have so much to give. And so with gratitude and an overflowing heart, we release this, we let it go, we allow it to be, trusting the unfolding in our life. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
All right. So the theme for the month is play. The talk title today is So Happy Together. So I think you know exactly what song we have to do. You know what has to be done. It's a song by the Turtles. Here we go. Imagine me and you. I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the one you love and hold them tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me and ease my mind, imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you and me, no matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Here we go. Ba 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 ba. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together, so happy together, so happy together.
Great song, Jimmy. Yeah, I was singing in my little office here. Thank you so much. I hope that you and all enjoyed that as much as I did. We are supported entirely by the generosity of our community, and we are so grateful for your partnership. There's a number of ways that you can give, and those are going to be posted in the chat there. You can visit our website at newthoughtnoco.org. You can also text the word give to 970-614-4226. Or you can mail your gift to our office. So placing your hand over your heart with your gift in mind, and let's repeat this together. Repeat after me. Spirit's abundance flows through me. Say it loudly in your home. Spirit's abundance flows through me. Joyfully, I share my good. Thank you all.
I am the place where God lives, moves moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Thanks, Jimmy and Julie. Thank you all for being here. I want to just do a quick announcement. So we sent a survey out and we are listening to your feedback. So starting next week for the month of April, we're going to try something new. Every Sunday, we're going to do a 10 a.m. service online, just like we did today. And then we're going to do a 5 p.m. in-person service. So same talk will be at 5 p.m. in person. So join us for that. And thanks for being a part of all of these changes and hanging in there with us. We're excited to do this for you. All right. If you'd like prayer after service, the link is in the chat. You can join us for prayer. We have two of our amazing practitioners, Amber and Deborah J, will be there supporting you this morning if there's something on your heart that you need support with. All right, everyone. So I'm going to benedict us out here. So just receive these words. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings. And so it is.
Spirit, know my name, call me home, and light these darkened days. Oh Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Oh, let love be our legacy. Let love be our legacy.
Let love be our legacy. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Know that you are loved. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye, everyone.